Yo, how's everyone doing? Welcome back for some more Forza Horizon 3. Today I'm sharing with you the 2002 Enzo Ferrari, and this car is valued at 2.8 million credits, so it is very expensive. It's at the top of the S1 class rear-wheel drive, another modern supercar, but this thing has a V12, pumps out about 650 horsepower, almost 500 torque, and the car is very light as well. It's actually named, obviously, after the founder of Ferrari, Mr. Enzo Ferrari himself, but this is a really cool car, and I kind of like it because it's a pretty unique Ferrari. A lot of them look very similar, which to me it kind of gets boring. Like, a lot of the cars, they all have those circular taillights, which this car has that as well, but overall the body design in the front of it has a very unique look, and the interior, there's nothing special going on, but I think it's a really cool car, and I had a ton of fun driving this thing. But let's talk about the performance, and this thing does have that V12 like we said, but it's placed in the mid to rear part of the car, which is very important because this car is rear-wheel drive, and obviously grip can be an issue with rear-wheel drive cars, so 56% of the weight is in the back of this thing, which is definitely thanks to the motor placement. And I have to say, you're about to see the V12. What a beautiful setup, and this car sounds very good as well, but because of that good grip means that we have a very good launch. Now, you certainly get a little bit of wheel spin in first gear, but the grip overall is very good for this car, and I was very impressed with how this car grips to the road, even going around turns and launching the car. All of it is very nice, so that's a very good start, and the acceleration on this thing is pretty good as well. Now, it's not amazing. There's definitely cars I feel like that are faster, but the acceleration is good, and the top speed is also very good for the S1 class. It's over 220 miles per hour, so no problems there at all, and the braking on this thing is also very good. The stats don't make it look like it's that amazing, but this thing, it feels really good when it comes to braking. It stops very fast, and I had no issues with that at all. But overall, this car is very good in pretty much all areas except for one, and it's one very important area though. That is the problem. So the handling on this car is really not all that great. That's the one thing that I found, and the one thing it definitely took me some time to get used to. So the car just doesn't corner very well, it doesn't turn very well, and it's kind of sad because everything else with this car is very good, but you have to be very careful when turning because it's just a little bit sluggish and a little bit unresponsive. But it's not awful, it's not terrible, but it's not good enough to compete with some cars that are in the S1 class, because there's other cars out there that are all-wheel drive that probably handle better than this thing and also have better acceleration and top speed. So I think this is a very good car, and for being rear-wheel drive, it is a very, very good car. And against other rear-wheel drive cars in the S1 class, you'll probably have a ton of success, but because of the lack of really good handling and just being able to rip through corners, it slows you down a lot. And I think against some of the all-wheel drive cars, especially ones that I've tuned and driven, I don't think it's going to be quite good enough to compete with those. So considering this is just a modern supercar in the S1 class and it goes for 2.8 million credits, I don't think it's worth 2.8 million credits. It's just not that kind of car to be worth that much, but I really do like the car though. It's a ton of fun to drive. I really enjoyed racing it, and it does perform well. But if you're looking for, you know, the best bang for your buck in terms of a race car, this is certainly not a good option. But I highly recommend still trying this car if you do have the money, because it's a lot of fun and it is still pretty good at racing, but it's not going to be a top of the line car. And if you're just going for a race car and you're limited on money, it's definitely not worth it. But if you do want to build this thing, I highly recommend that you do not make this thing all-wheel drive, because the handling will be even worse, and I also don't think it will be successful in the S2 class. I really don't see it being competitive there. So basically top it out in the S1 class, get it to S1 900, and focus on the handling. Do anything you can to make this car handle better, and it will probably be pretty good because the grip's already there, the acceleration and speed is good, and the braking is also very good. So I like the car a lot. Sounds good, looks good, and it's a lot of fun to drive. So let me know what you think of the Enzo Ferrari. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to y'all again very soon. Peace out.